So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And by now you've probably seen the thumbnail, so you're just as confused as I am. But it reads, the title of the video reads, "This ascetic kept his arm up," and I don't know if I pronounced that word right, but I gave it a shot though. I mean, kept his arm up for 49 years. Let that sink in. He kept his arm up for 49 years. And it says, look at what happened to him next. And I don't know about y'all, but I am anxious to know what happened to him next. So we're going to check this video out, man, because normally I'm thinking maybe something spiritual or something like that. Whenever you commit to something that extreme, is normally like spiritually based. So that's what I'm thinking. That I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comment section before you watch the video what y'all think this is rooted upon. So we're gonna check this out. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the family, tear that like button down, and here we go.
This is Amar Bharati. Till the 1970s, his life wasn't any different from the rest. He worked in a bank, had a wife and 3 kids. But then he had an epiphany, and Bharati decided to dedicate his life to the god Shiva. To prove his faith and gratitude, he decided to raise his arm and not lower it for the rest of his life.
Wow, I knew it had to be spiritual or faith-based, so it was. We were right there. We were right if y'all put faith-based down there as well. For the rest of his life. Now, for me, that's... I hope one day I could be half the man this dude is, because I want my faith to get to that point. You know what I mean? And those are honestly some of the struggles to have that kind of faith, whether it be spiritual, whether it be in life, whether it be your goals that you set, just to go that hard, that extreme. Bro, this is like not even 21 seconds in, and just thinking about it is inspiring.
He decided to raise his arm and not lower it for the rest of his life. You can see what came out of it. Bharati kept his promise. And if you think that was easy, try to hold your arm like this for some time. Most likely you'll feel discomfort in a matter of minutes. Now keep in mind, this man has been doing this for 49 years. During his first years, he was traveling and felt incredibly severe pain, but it wasn't as strong as his perseverance and dedication. After some time, Bharati began to lose any sort of sense in his arm. The pain disappeared along with it. Apparently, he can't feel his arm at all, but he still stays true to his oath. Could he actually lower it?
So look at his hand. It looks like his hand, for lack of a better word, is kind of dead. Like he like you said, he started losing feeling in it. And now you look at it, it had color in the left picture, and then on the right picture, it looks like it has no circulation of blood in that thing whatsoever. The nails bed, it looks dead. It looks grown and dead off his hand. And throughout that, he still kept his faith and kept it going and stuck to what he said he was going to do.
His arm after holding it up for so many years? There are no scientific studies on this topic, maybe because there aren't that many people who hold their arms up for half a century. But here's what Steve managed to find on the internet. Bharati's arm muscles are severely atrophied. Blood circulation appears to be cut off, and nerve endings are irreversibly damaged. Any attempt to use the arm will result in its destruction. The arm will snap. Not the bone. The bone is actually fine, but the cartilage is dried, so it'll collapse right away. The fact that the arm was connected to the rest of the body is the only thing that preserved it from necrosis. If he puts his arm down, the connection will break and the arm will just rot? The body of the man adapted to the unnatural pose as best it could. Most likely, it even grew additional connective tissues so that Bharati could hold his arm vertically without putting any effort into this. By the way, did you see Bharati's nails? Yes, these strange spirals are his nails. And that's quite interesting. Of course, all these years, the man couldn't care about a manicure, but his nails are still quite short. For comparison, these nails haven't been cut for 60 and 20 years. Most likely, Bharati's atrophy and disrupted blood circulation are the reason his nails simply stopped growing. Bharati is what they call sadhu. That's a Hindu term for ascetics. That is...
And his arm is basically now pretty much turned into a branch of his, thinking of his body like a tree. His arm is now a branch. And anything, I'm surprised he said the bone won't snap, but the cartilage is already, it'll snap. But I wouldn't be surprised if you move it, it just detaches away from his body. It's been that stiff so long.
People who renounce worldly pleasures take strict vows and keep them no matter what. They do it for different purposes. When Bharati was asked why he kept his arm raised, he replied this was his way to protest against all wars. By the way, he has followers. Several sadhus decided to raise their arms in the manner of Bharati. Some of them have been doing this for 7, 13, and even 25 years.
Wow.
Some need extra support. To be honest, I don't really understand how vows work, but I think it still counts. Actually, if we compare the life of a sadhu with the ordinary life of modern people, we'll see these are literally two different worlds. Take me, for example. I wake up in my apartment and drink coffee every morning. Sadhus don't have houses or any property. Well, with a rare exception. Then I get down to work. Well, I can also go to the mall. Sadhus don't work. They get anywhere on foot, sometimes over long distances, and don't own money. I can order food online or, ask Steve to cook it. Sadhus rely on food donated to them by other people. They don't visit hairdressers, dedicating all their time to spiritual practices. Perhaps the only thing we share in common is mobile phones. Modern sadhus sometimes use them, supposedly to communicate with other sadhus and exchange news.
Now that's surprising. I never would have expected him to say that. They would have cell phones. They just didn't look like, not saying they couldn't get one, they just looked like they wouldn't want one. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a curveball right there. I didn't see that one coming.
I couldn't live like this. Of course, raising their arms up isn't the only thing ascetics do. There are other spiritual practices that ordinary people may consider tough. For example, the one followed by the so-called Kareshwaris. The goal of these people is actually simple: to stand on one leg, not sitting down, not even lying down to sleep. Moreover, the length of the vow is unclear. Some sources mention 12 years, others attach no specific time frame at all. Kareshwaris have a swing-like device that allows them to rest during the day. Of course, this doesn't look like a proper rest. A person simply rests his hands and continues to stand. At night, Kareshwari sort of lies down on this swing, but his foot still touches the ground. Of course, this practice has certain consequences for the body. They say sometimes it can even result in a disability. What do you think about sadhus who endure cold on purpose? In winter, they gather in Saptabhadri, a group of temples located in the Himalayas, and live there at temperatures down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. There's snow up to 6 feet deep and actual mountains around.
Y'all know how I feel about the cold. This would definitely test my faith. You know what I mean? This would test, but bro, if this ain't motivating to y'all in anything that you trying to do in life, and you think you can't get it done, maybe your workouts are too hard, or you know what I mean, you've been telling yourself you want to lose weight and you just can't commit. This type of level of commitment is the type of commitment. Maybe if I could get close to this, I think I'd be happy. You know what I'm saying? If I could get close to this, I'd be happy.
But sadhus often wear blankets only, and that's it. Some put on clothes, but looking at these photos, I doubt they feel warm. But sadhus aren't discouraged by this. They endure the cold and even bathe in ice water. You know, I got into the sea once before it properly warmed up. The water was, well, maybe 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was damn cold. But sadhus don't mind the cold when they're focused on their practices.
I always struggle getting in the pool, you know. Easing, you know, people tell you just jump right in. Yeah, you want to do that sometimes, but sometimes you try to ease in, and that's the worst way to do it. So I'm struggling, and I'm like, and then once you get halfway, you walk around with your body out like this, like that. Yeah. So this is even more extreme than that.
Damn cold. But sadhus don't mind the cold when they're focused on their practices. What could possibly be cooler and more incredible than this? What do you think a man who hasn't had anything to eat or drink for 76 years looks like? If this man can be considered alive, I would imagine someone incredibly thin, sickly, and falling apart. Oh, never mind. Turns out he looks like this. His name was Prahlad Jani. He was an Indian monk who claimed to have stopped eating and drinking in 1940. Jani had a huge number of followers, not surprising given his abilities. His spiritual journey supposedly began at the age of 12, and when he turned 14, he became an ascetic, settled in a cave where he stopped eating and drinking. But let's be honest, you can claim all you want, but is there any scientific evidence to support his claims? Well, you could say that. In 2003 and 2010, Jani went through 2 separate observational studies and medical scrutiny.
What y'all think? Healthiest man on the planet? Because that's what society would say is healthy, because he doesn't put none of the harmful things that we put in our body, the meats and the processed foods and different things like that, that every corner you turn, somebody's telling you that that's what's killing us, the chemicals and everything that they're using. So this guy who has none should come back as I would dare to say, the healthiest man in the world, right? Let's see.
The ascetic was under constant observation, and both times the doctors came to the conclusion that he actually didn't drink or eat, at the same time staying in excellent physical shape. Can these studies be considered unbiased? It's up to you to decide. Here, for example, we got pictures of Jani's bladder. As for me, I don't have a clue. Steve, come here. What do you make of that? Well, we aren't doctors, but we know that Jani died on May 26th, 2020 at the age of 91. And this is, in any case, a respectable age, even if he occasionally broke his vow. Kailash Singh's vows,
How do you not drink, though? That's the part that's baffling me. How do you not drink? Like, it's got to be something else to it that we're missing, or some left out information or something.
Seems more radical? In 1974, shortly after his marriage, he decided he would quit bathing because the priest said that this was a sure way to conceive a son. Spoiler, it didn't work. The man has 7 daughters now, but the reluctance to wash has already turned into his vow. And that's assuming Singh is a sheep herder who works under a scorching sun. But the only cleansing that he allows himself is a fire bath each evening. The man believes this helps to get rid of sweat. His family and neighbors would disagree, but it's impossible to make him change his mind. However, during the Victorian era, this approach to hygiene didn't bother anyone. Those who could afford a bathtub took a bath several times a month. Doctors advised against bathing, believing it had a negative effect on health and appearance of the skin. Unlike a healthy layer of dirt. Yeah. You know what's odd? Despite his decision to avoid bathing, Kailash Singh is actually not the dirtiest person on the planet. This rather questionable title belongs to a man named Amu Haji, who hasn't washed for almost 70 years. He lives in one of the villages in Iran. This elderly man believes that if he takes a bath, he'll definitely get sick, so he's always covered in ashes and dirt, smokes animal feces out of a rusty pipe, eats porcupine meat, and drinks 5 liters of water every day. In fact, this is a very strange hermit who chose a solitary life after experiencing several emotional setbacks in his youth. Well, this could hardly be qualified as a spiritual practice. Our list of spiritual practices.
How y'all feel about that? A person that does not bathe at all, maybe takes a fire bath. How you feel? Like, could you coexist with that person? You know what I mean? My sons, if they go a couple days, bro, you smell them before as you walking upstairs, and we can't deal with it. No, they bedroom. If you got boys, what that bedroom can get to smelling like. No, you can't. I can't. So I don't know. And I'm also not trying to be shallow or disrespect their faith or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So how do y'all feel about that?
Well, this could hardly be qualified as a spiritual practice. Our list of spiritual practices would be incomplete without a mummified monk. Imagine you bought a statue of a Buddhist monk because you collected stuff like that, but it looks suspicious. So you have it CT scanned to find a monk which turned into a mummy during his lifetime by his own free will around the year 1100. Even today, Buddhist monks believe that this mummified lama didn't die. He simply meditates in order to wake up someday and bring goodness to the world. But the most interesting thing is this isn't the only story like that. Today, there are 24 well-preserved mummies of Japanese monks who went through Sokushin Butsu practice. It took the monks about 3,000 days to prepare their bodies for mummification and happened in 3 stages. First, they had to stick to a strict diet of berries and pine bark, do a lot of meditation and training, then perhaps drink special poison tea, and finally they were lowered into a stone tomb. At first, the monk would ring a bell to indicate he's still alive, and when he stopped ringing, everyone around realized that the master had gone into a trance. They just had to wait another 1,000 days and get the mummy. Ew. If you think this is too harsh and even scary, then you aren't the only one, and I didn't even share the gruesome details, so no wonder Sokushin Butsu was banned at the end of the 19th century. Good riddance. See you later.
Sheesh. Like I said, man, I can only wish my faith gets to that point. You know what I mean? I fall short in a lot of areas. Definitely want to strive to be better. And that's not just in the faith aspect of my life. Anything that I do, I want to be able to do it with that much conviction. You know what I mean? Like I said, workout is something that's everybody possibly has on their list. So getting in better shape, eating better, you know what I mean? Having that type of conviction, not falling victim to the hot fried chicken that be, you know what I mean, well seasoned coming out that grease, or going by, what is it? Not Dunkin' Donuts, but when that hot light is on, Krispy Kreme, you know what I mean? I do good at avoiding that. Smelling Popeyes. It's certain things, man. Chinese food, I fall victim to that. A good milkshake, I fall victim to that. So I want to get to this point to where I have that much conviction. I don't want it to happen because I have to, because of I go to the doctors one day and you know what I mean? Either he telling you got to cut back on this or cut it out, because if not, it's going to kill you. So I want to do that beforehand and have that much better faith. So y'all get at me in the comment section though, man. A man kept his arm up, bro. 49 years. Some people were standing on one foot. Years, decades. Like, what do y'all think of that type of stuff, man? I'm so anxious to see what y'all gotta say. Never seen nothing like that. I'm finna go talk to, I told y'all my grandma came in town, man, so I'm extra excited. So I'm finna go talk to her about that type of stuff, you know what I mean? Strike up a conversation. So I'll be in the comment section. Y'all let me know and stick around and stay tuned. Till the next one, I'm gone. Peace.